Good day to you mga ka-learners! Welcome back to our second lesson on machines. At present, many things help us do things more easily. The tools we use at home, in the workplace, on the farm, and in so many other places help us do our work. This lesson will help you learn about some of these tools or machines. It will also tell you how these machines make your work easy. Finally, it will also teach you how to make simple tools to help you with your work. Are you familiar with the objects in these illustrations? A metro aide sweeps streets using a broom and a dustpan. Mother uses these tools when she works in the kitchen. A carpenter uses tools like hammers, nails, screws, saws, and chisels. By what other name can you call the tools just mentioned? They can be called machines. Machines are devices with some power source used to accomplish some task or work. They allow us to reduce the human effort it takes to move, lift, or change something. The machines that we often use at home, in the workplace, and in other places are called simple machines. They are called simple because they are easy to use. There are 6 different types of simple machines. We have levers, inclined planes, wheels and axles, pulleys, wedges, and screws. Each of these types will be discussed in detail in this lesson. Have you ever ridden on a seesaw? How does it work? Look at this illustration of a seesaw. A seesaw is an example of a lever. A lever is a simple machine used for lifting and moving heavy loads. It is made up of a rigid bar supported by and pivoting about a fulcrum at some point along its length so that an effort applied at one point can be used to move the load at another point. When 2 people sit on either end of a seesaw, they both represent the load. The fulcrum is the point on which the lever turns. It also gives support or balance. Other examples of levers include screwdrivers, poles, a wheelbarrow, and a pair of scissors. Let's look at this pair of scissors. Notice its 2 blades and how it works. Locate its fulcrum. A pair of scissors has 2 blades between which the object to be cut is inserted. When you press on its handles, the blades move together and cut the object. In doing this, you actually push the handles toward each other to create a force that enables you to cut the object. The point where the blades meet together is the fulcrum. The force you exert on the pair of scissors is the effort or the input force. The object you want to cut is the resistance or the output force. The second kind of simple machine is the inclined plane. An inclined plane has a plane surface at an angle to a horizontal surface used especially as a device for lessening the force needed to raise or lower any object. Observe how an inclined plane is used in the following illustration. How different is using a lever from using an inclined plane? From the previous illustration, you will see that no fulcrum is involved when you are using an inclined plane compared to when you use a lever. Have you ever lifted a heavy load this way? Was it easier doing the work using the inclined plane than by just using your bare hands? In what other situations can you use an inclined plane to make your work easier? The lever and inclined plane are the 2 most basic types of simple machines. The other kinds are just modifications of these 2. The third kind of simple machine is a pulley. A pulley is a simple machine used for lifting and lowering weights. This consists of a wheel with a grooved rim over which a rope or belt runs. It works in such a way that a load tied at one end goes up when a person pulls on the other end of the rope. This way, the load becomes not only easier to get from one place to another, it also becomes easier to carry. A wheel and axle is one of the simple machines made up of a cylindrical axle on which a wheel, concentric with the axle, is firmly fastened. To make it work, effort should be applied to the wheel and the weight should be attached to the axle. Look at this illustration of a bicycle. A bicycle is an example of a simple machine that makes use of a wheel and axle to make it work. How does the wheel and axle help the bike move? The pedals of the bicycle are attached to the front sprocket wheel. The front sprocket wheel serves as the axle attached to the wheels of the bike, which move together to enable the bike to move forward when a force is applied to the pedals. Are you familiar with the following tools? Have you ever used any one of them? How did it or they help you with your work? Knives, axes, and other tools used to cut things to smaller pieces are examples of wedges. A wedge is a piece of solid wood, metal, or other material tapering to a thin edge that is driven into wood or other materials to split, pushed into a narrow gap between moving parts to immobilize them, or used to hold a door open, and other similar applications. Other examples of these are your teeth, the farmer's plows, and many more. A screw is a small, metal cylinder with a spiral ridge or thread down the shaft and a slot in its head, driven into position in wood, for example, by rotation using a screwdriver, usually used as a fastening device. A screw is a combination of an inclined plane and lever. Look at this illustration to see some examples of screws. Let's remember, simple machines are the machines that we often use at home, in the workplace, and in other places. There are 6 types of simple machines, namely levers, inclined planes, pulleys, a wheel and axle, wedges, and screws. That does it for our lesson on simple machines. I hope that with this lesson, you'll gain a better appreciation of the many simple tools you see around your house. Stick around because for our final lesson, we will look at how these machines help us do work. See you then, mga ka-learners!